Hello everyone, this is Mrs. Henry. We are going to be looking at lesson 9-1, Translations on the Coordinate Plane. This whole unit is about different geometric transformations, and the first one we're going to start with is called a translation. A translation is going to move every point of a figure the same direction and the same distance. A translation can move a figure left and right, and or up and down. Translations are also thought of as slides. You may have heard them called that in a previous course. Okay, so we have our original figure, triangle ABC. We are going to translate that figure 5 units to the left and 2 units down. So every point is going to go the same direction and the same distance. Okay, so we start with our original figure, and that original figure has a name. It's called a pre-image. So ABC is our pre-image. We're going to move it 5 units to the left and 2 units down. So if I move A over 5 to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 2 units down, our new point is going to be here. This is called our image, our result. And we don't just call it A again, because that would be kind of confusing. We can call it A prime, or we can name it a totally different triangle. But for today, we're going to call it A prime. It looks like a little apostrophe up there. Okay, for B, let's move that one over 5 units to the left and 2 units down. And that's going to be B prime. And then C prime, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2. Okay, so if you can follow the directions that they give you, then you are going to be in great shape. So here is my image, and again, remember, image is the term we use for the result after the translation. So I'm going to write my pre-image points. My pre-image points for A, remember, it's always X, comma, then Y. So point A was at 2, 4, right here, 2, 4. And then when we moved A, it showed up at -3, 2. So if you can identify the points on a 4-quadrant grid, then you're in good shape. Point B, up here, we started at 6, 7. And B prime, our new point, was at 1, 5. Okay, C was originally at 7, 3, and the new coordinate C prime is over at 2, 1. All right, so look for any patterns that describe what happened to the X and Y values in each ordered pair. So if I'm looking at, let's see, 2 to -3, 6 to 1, 7 to 2. Do you see what happened? It looks like because we moved left 5, it decreased all of the X values by 5. Okay, look at the Y values and see if we can see anything going on there. Let me get a little bit of color there. So if I look at 4 down to 2, 7 down to 5, 3 down to 1. Okay, so what we see happening there is our translation, we moved down 2, so it decreased all the Y values. not bad. So there is a way that we can represent all this algebraically, and what we do is we write it as an ordered pair, but we're going to give ourselves some little room. We're going to take our x value and we're going to subtract it by 5. Sorry about that. We will take our y value and we will subtract 2. That's how we would write it algebraically. So let's see if that works. If I were to plug in, let's see, I'll get a different color. If I were to plug in 2 and I subtract 5, that does give me a negative 3. See how that works? If I plug in 6 and I subtract 5, that will give me 1. If I plug in 7 and subtract 5, it will give me 2. Okay, so let's take a look at number 2. So this one over here, we are going to translate different directions. Okay, so we're going to go 4 units to the right and 3 units up. And then we're going to record the pre-image coordinates and the image. So let's start with D. Go 4 units to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 3 units up, 2, 3. There's going to be D prime. Okay, 4 units to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 units up, 2, 3. There's E prime. Let me get it right on that point a little better. And then F prime, 1, 2, 3, 4. It'd be right there. So there's F prime, and let's go ahead and draw in our triangle. Okay. If we drew it correctly, our triangles should be the same shape, just in a different location. So point D, our pre-image, is at -7, comma, -4. Remember, x first, then y. And D prime, when we moved it over 4 units to the right, that gave us a -3. And 3 units up, that gave us a -1. E is at -4, comma 1. E prime is at 0, comma 4. And F is at -3, comma -5. And F prime is at 1, comma -2. All right. By the way, I kind of want you to see what's happening here. Just a little quick review from 7th grade math. Your 4-quadrant grid is broken up into 4 quadrants, and this one is quadrant 1, 2, 3, and then 4 down here. Okay. Let's go ahead and look for any patterns to describe what happened to the x and y values in this order, in these ordered pairs. And if you're picking up on the pattern from the previous one, looks like what we did here is we moved right 4, it increased, or we added all of the x values by 4. And for the y values, we moved up 3. It increased all of the y values by 3. Okay, so how would we write that algebraically? Again, as an ordered pair. We move to the right 4, moving to the right positive, so we do x plus 4. And I keep wanting to put that there instead of my parenthesis. And we moved up by 3, so y plus 3. So again, you are taking your x value, like -3, you're going to add 4 to it, and it gives you that 1. Okay, see how that works and how it's going to make your life a little bit easier. All right, so let's take a look on the back side. Okay, so we're looking at the images and we're trying to explain what happened. They're showing us the pre-image and the image. So the pre-image is what does not have the little prime marks or the apostrophes on it. So that's our pre-image. So we need to see what happened with it. So the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to label all those points, and I'm just going to label those points alphabetically. So I'm going to say G, H, I, J. Okay, so G is at point 2, comma, -7. H is at 2, comma, -1. I is at 5, comma, -1. And J is at 5, comma, -7. Okay. All right, so now let's take a look at the result, the image. And that's going to be G prime, H prime, I prime, J prime. You have to go in the same order that you did for your pre-image. So after the translation occurred, G prime is at -5, comma, -3. H prime is at -5, comma, 3. I prime is at -2, comma, 3. Okay, and J prime is at -2, comma, -3. Okay, so looking at that, we need to kind of write a verbal description of what exactly occurred. So we need to start with the left right first. So in order to go from G to G prime, we went to the left 7 units. So 7 units left. Okay, and then we went 4 units up. Okay, so that's how we would say it, but what's the algebraic representation? So what did we do to the x value? We went to the left, which is negative. We subtracted 7, and with our y values, we added 4. Okay, it says, what do you notice about the line segments in the pre-image and in the image? Do they change size? So let's kind of zoom in and see what they're talking about here. So if I were to look at the pre-image line segments compared to the image, if I were to look at, let's get me a different color here. If I were to look at segment H to I, that is 1, 2, 3 units. After I translate it and go to H prime, I prime, okay, it is still 1, 2, 3 units. Okay, that's going to happen also with every single line segment, but let's just double check I to J. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. After the translation, I prime to J prime. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so nothing changed as far as the size is concerned. Okay, so we would say the line segments are congruent. That means equal size and shape. We even have a fancy little symbol for that. So it looks like an equal sign with a little wavy mark on top. Let's see if we can do that again. So why don't you go ahead and write down your pre-image coordinates. Remember, the pre-image does not have the apostrophes on them, so your pre-image is up here. So write down your pre-image coordinates for K, L, M, N, and then write down your image coordinates okay, and then we'll see about the verbal description. Okay, go ahead and pause the video so you can go ahead and make sure that you are writing your coordinates down correctly. I'm assuming you paused the video. Now you're welcome back. So we've got -7, 2, and k prime is 2 comma negative 7. L, negative 2 comma 2. L prime, 7 comma negative 7. M is going to be negative 2 comma 7. M prime, 7 comma negative 2. And last one, negative 7 comma 7. 2 comma negative 2. Okay, so let's take a look and see what has happened between those to get a verbal description of the translation. So I'm going to pick the first one and just look at k to k prime. So left, right first. So I'm going from k to k prime. Looks like I'm going to the right 9 units. And then I'm going to go travel down 9 units. Okay, so my verbal description would be 9 units right, 9 units down. Okay, what do you notice? Oh, sorry, skipped a part. Algebraic representation. So how to write that algebraically if we're moving to the right. That is going to be x plus 9. If we're going to be moving down units, that would be y minus 9. Okay, so remember x is left, right, y up, down. What did you notice about the angle measures in the pre-image and the image? Okay, so if I were to look at the angles, so that means if I were to look at this angle right here and compare it to this angle right here, if you can kind of just eyeball it, they look like they're exactly the same. That's still a perpendicular angle down there, which means it's a 90-degree angle. This up here would stay a 90-degree angle from the original. Over here, another 90-degree angle, another 90-degree angle. So it doesn't matter after the translation, the angle measures stay congruent. So I'm going to do my little fancy symbol. My angle measures stay congruent. So the line segments are congruent, the angle measures stay congruent. The only thing that changes is its resulting position. Okay, so if I were to look mathematically at what's going on 5, 6, and 7, how could we describe those translations? Okay, so my pre-image is 12, 7. My image is negative 1, 14. So I'm kind of looking at how far did I go left or right. So first of all, if I'm going from 12 to negative 1, I'm going to be traveling to the left. If you have to look back up at the grid, you can. So again, if I were looking at 12, 12 would be like out here somewhere, and I'm going to negative 1 on the x-axis, I would be going to the left. So how many units would I be going to the left? I would be going all of the 12 on the positive side and one more on the negative side. So I'd be going 13 units left. Okay, and then I'm going from 7 up to 14, and that would be 7 units up. Okay, so trying to think of a decent way to say that, but again, working with a 4-quadrant grid would probably help you out with that. Okay. One of the things that you can do is you can kind of mathematically do it if you wanted to. You could take, I'll hold that for a different day. Never mind. Okay. So looking at number 6, I'm going from a negative 6 to a negative 5. So think about what your 4-quadrant grid looks like. If I'm at negative 6, and here would be like a negative 5, I'm going to be going that direction. So I'm going to be going 1 unit to the right, or I'm adding 1, and negative 8 to a positive 2. So negative 8 would be like way down here. Positive 2 would be up here. So it would go all in the negative 8 plus 2. So that would be 10 units up. Okay, and how would I describe this next translation? Let's see, starting at -3, be over here somewhere, I'm going to -9, so I'll be traveling to the left again. How many units will I be traveling to the left? That would be 6 to the left. Okay, and up or down, starting at 6, going down to -1, so I'd be going all the way down to 6 units plus 1, so I would be going 7 down. Okay, if you have any questions, please let either Miss Bird or myself know. Let's see if there's anything going on with your prep work that you may need a little help on. Yeah, I do again want to kind of let you know what's going on when it's talking about quadrants 1, 2, 3, and 4. Remember, if you need to label those, this is quadrant 1, this is quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. Again, I know you had that in a previous year, but sometimes it helps to be reminded of it. Okay, remember there also is a back side, so make sure that you turn this paper over and don't forget to do the back side. Okay, good luck.